Kia ora whānau. Hey, just quickly touching base with you guys. Like I said yesterday, this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, we're working at a property that would prefer not to have any filming or photography done. So we're being respectful about that and we're not doing any filming inside the property. But just wanted to let you guys know that we're definitely at it 7 days a week. You know us. You can see Chris there going past on the little digger. We've got Rook in the 8-ton digger today. We've got another little digger I can see sitting, not being used at the moment. I'll get onto that in a second. We've got the 2-ton tip truck. We've got the 4-ton tip truck and the 7-ton tip truck is here somewhere. We've got our portaloo. We've got our cafe set up as per usual. I can see people out there working. I'll be a bit respectful and not say exactly what they're doing inside the property, but yeah, just wanted to let you guys know that we're still hard out at it. We're not resting. We're still going. And tonight we're having a little bit of a get together at one of our property owners' houses. As you know, today is my final day on site with the team. The next 2 days we're going to be cleaning equipment and returning hire machinery and whatnot. So we're having a little get together this afternoon. I'm looking forward to a barbie and a chill out with a bit of the team. That'll be really nice. And just to wrap up my time here, which is, God, it's really emotional, to be honest. Sometimes I'm really keen and I'm looking forward to being able to get my life back and go back to weaving stuff on the beach and cruising around the country, enjoying the scenery. But at the same time, it's also going to be so hard to leave all this behind. Having the sounds of diggers ringing out of my ear day in and day out, not having that every day is going to be really strange. So I'm feeling a bit apprehensive about that. But yeah, I think we're going to do good. But anyway, guys, that's our check-in for today. Might do another bit of a live stream a little bit later when we have our get-together at one of the property owners' house for a little rest and relax for my final day. But yeah, hope you guys are doing well at home, and we'll catch you a bit later. Kia ora whānau.
Talofa, everybody. A really exciting evening tonight. I have such an incredible privilege of bringing Zeb live with us, and to be able to, just find out from her just so many things that both her and I have seen in the Hawke's Bay, but just the incredible work that she's done. So I know that it was her live saying that she was going to be packing up, but let's have a chat with her and find out just the incredible things that she's done. So I'm just going to introduce you to her, and welcome, Zeb.
Kia
So
ora.
great to have you. Thank you so much for coming on to Island Girl Views this afternoon.
Oh, you're so welcome. It's so lovely to be here chatting with you, Leao. Thank you so much for having me on.
We have, over the last 6-7 weeks, just been so amazed, and I just want to honor you tonight for just the incredible woman that you are, and the things that you've sacrificed, the financial things that you've sacrificed for your love for the people. And so I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get emotional, but I just am really just touched by the way that you have loved on, you've just gone out there and done the work, gone out there and just got people together. And I did ask you, I was like, have you, the skill set, where did it come from? And it came from who you are and, the things that you've experienced in your life. So I just want to say thank you for being part of our show. And I just want to give you the platform and just tell us where, and I'm going to interject sometimes just to ask you questions, but tell us how this all began. And
yep, no worries. I'll get right into it.
Yeah, I'd love to hear it.
So this all started, as you know, this big disaster went down on the 14th of February on Valentine's Day, and at the time I was up in Waihi. I was there for a friend of the family's birthday, and my good friend Tobias Tahi was over in the Waikato as well, and he messaged me to let me know that he wanted to start a donation drive in Hamilton to send some trucks down, or send a truck down full of donated goods for people who needed it in Hawke's Bay. And as soon as he told me that, I said, mate, count me in, I'm there. I'm not sure if he believed me, but I was there with bells on the very next day, and we were
preparing the warehouse to receive donations. So that was in Hamilton, and we were open for 2 days at Shaw's Bird Park. They allowed us the use of their warehouse there, and we had so many people flock in with donations. It was just amazing. And, you know, my hat absolutely goes off to those people who turned up with donations, but they weren't just there to drop off. They actually stayed around and helped us sort through everything. So we sorted through everything that was donated to make sure that it was bagged and labelled so that it could get to the people that really needed it and they wouldn't have to sort it out at the other end. So we filled up a big, I believe it was a 40-foot truck. We filled it up head to toe. We didn't realise it at the time, but the donations we received over that weekend actually exceeded the space that we had in this 40-foot truck. So at the last minute, we had to organise another truck. So I got in touch with a trucking company in Auckland who were really happy to help us out. I believe that was TKO Contracting. And they sent through a truck with a container on the back with a driver, and we loaded up that 20-foot container, not a problem at all, and we sent that down as well. And then I left myself. I went back to Waihi, and the following weekend I did another donation drive in Waihi, and I sent down a truck, and then I loaded my bus up from head to toe. This is my bus over here, so this is what I live in.
Wow.
My orange house bus.
I love it.
And I filled that up floor to ceiling, and I drove down myself to bring more stuff to Hawke's Bay. And when I got here, this all started because I arrived here and I put a word out to a couple of people that I knew in the area of Hawke's Bay. And I said, hey, look, I'm coming through. Let's put a crew together. Let's get out there and let's, you know, help out wherever we can. And so the first day there was, I think, 6 of us, 5 plus me. And they turned up on the first day, and we basically just went out not knowing what we were going to face, not knowing what we were going to see or what we were going to come across or how we were going to help people. But we went out with our gumboots and shovels and basically just started popping into houses in the area of Miani to see who would like some assistance. And we came across a couple of houses that wanted a bit of help, and that was great. But the thing that really stood out to me was that on our drives around looking for properties that needed some assistance, there were actually heaps of people out there doing the exact same thing. They were walking around with gumboots, shovels, wheelbarrows, and they really wanted to dig in and help, but they didn't know how to approach property owners or what addresses needed help or how to go about doing it, really. There was a big need for just someone to run a bit of logistics in the background. So without thinking twice about it, I put my hand up and I said, look, this is what we're going to do. I started getting together properties that needed help, and I created a page on Facebook for the work crew to work from, and I just started putting out details of addresses we were going to go to. Anyone who was free and available and wanted to help, come down and help as well, and that's how we sort of started. So it started from 6 of us, and then I think the most we had on one property volunteer-wise, we easily hit probably 60 volunteers per day, which was really, really good to see. And then other people started coming to the party offering help. For example, you know, we had meals teams coming to the party. They started providing our crew with lunches every day, free of charge. We also had a laundry team come to the party doing all of our laundry, people offering showers, accommodation, all sorts of things. And we also had offers from other contractors who were coming in with bobcats and tractors and stuff like that, who just wanted to be put to work. They didn't want any money in return. They just wanted to be put to work. And because I had already started a bit of a funding drive from the donation drives that I was doing in Waikato, I already had a little bit of pūtea in the bank to be able to start hiring diggers and things. And I guess once my videos were going out showing us using all this equipment and getting in the dirt and really helping out, those videos started spreading around and more donations started coming in. So it was just absolutely wonderful. And we started booking in more and more and more properties. And then I was extremely overwhelmed. I've never done anything like this in my life. I've never been in a position of employment where I've had to manage people or manage sites or even, I've never even stepped foot inside a digger before. You know, I don't know how these things work or how they run, but so I definitely jumped into the deep end without any swimmers, without any flotation devices, and I half drowned while I was trying to swim and trying to get all this sorted. So there was a lot of overwhelmingness and a lot of burnout in those first couple of weeks where I was basically trying to juggle 5 full-time jobs at once, basically to provide all the the background logistics that needed to happen to get people to the right places with the right equipment and get the job done. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, you look amazing for someone who's half drowned. I just have to say, um, just amazing that you actually had those leadership skills in you to
Mm.
actually be able to step into it. There's no way anyone who didn't have that already in you, would have been able to take over what you did. And tell me, do you have any stats on how many houses? I know you are very similar to me. You just go out and do it. So I know you probably won't have it, but just a general.
Actually, I
Do you have
do.
any? Oh,
I
awesome!
had a
Yes.
feeling this question was going to come up, so I did prepare my numbers. So
Oh, I'm so
I've
proud
kept
of
a
you. Thank
logbook
you.
of I've kept a logbook of all the addresses and property owners that we've met along the way and the properties that we've helped
Wow.
at. And so I've been going for 7 weeks in total. And
Yes.
5.5 of those weeks have been here in Hawke's Bay. So for 5.5 weeks, we've been working 7 days a week. My work has started from about 7 o'clock in the morning every day and has gone right through past midnight every day as well. So I've been
Wow.
really running myself ragged here, but look at the amazing things that we've been able to do, and
Yeah.
that has been the reward at the end of the day, just to see the massive efforts that have happened. But in answer to your question, we have been in 41 days. So 41 days is the amount of time that we've been here in Hawke's Bay. And in that 41 days, we have managed to work at and clear 39 properties. Now, just bearing in
That is
mind that some of
amazing.
these properties we have visited on more than one occasion, maybe 3 times. And
Yeah.
just as those properties get to the next stage of being able to clean up, when we first got here, we were doing things like burying dead animals and seeing a lot
Yeah.
of unsightly things, dead sheep up
Yes.
in trees on main roads and things. It was quite
Yeah.
horrible. And then as the dead animals were cleaned away, then there was different work that needed to be done, like ripping jib out of flood affected properties. You can see this home behind me. I'm not sure if you can see in there
Yeah.
properly, but
Yeah. You can.
the jib has been pulled out right up to the ceiling because this entire house was underwater. So if we don't do things like taking jib off walls and ripping up floorboards and things, what happens is the framing of the homes start rotting because they've still got all that
That's
moisture
right.
in them.
That's
And
right.
so
Water.
we're also pulling up floorboards and we're digging out all the mud and silt by hand from underneath the houses as well. We've also started going into clearing houses. So a big part of what we were doing was clearing houses, pulling out all their furniture and things out of their house. It's all rubbish, well, most of it. The owners usually go
Yeah.
through and get their salvageable possessions out first, and then we'll come in, we'll
Yeah.
take everything out, and we'll use our tip trucks to get them out to the side of the road where the council are picking all the waste up. So after the stage of clearing people's homes out, we started getting into things like fence lines. So digging out
Yeah.
fence lines, because again, if we don't dig out those fence lines, they'll stay in their moisture-filled state and they'll rot and they'll end up having to be replaced. And with people still have sort of horses and things that are coming back to their properties, and they really need these fence lines to stay intact. Once fence lines had been done, we started moving into sort of garden areas, garden beds, trying to save their trees, save their orchards, save their properties. And that's sort of the stage that we remain in right now. And that's just like at the moment here, we've dug out a lot of her field for her horses. So we're going to be making sure that's laid flat and that'll be ready to get grass going in it as well. Yeah.
Wow. So back
So
to
a
your
lot of stuff.
stats. So,
Oh, that's my stats. Yeah.
so you cleared 40, and
Yeah.
I want to.
39
Yeah.
properties in 41 days.
Wow. That is just incredible. So, which leads me to my next question. Who of the government am I going to start this one, because I've been down there on and off for a month.
What tin of worms are we opening here?
Well, okay, so listen, I went to the city council down there to ask them some very basic questions as
Mhm.
to what was happening with the funding, who gets funding, very basic questions which I didn't actually get very good answers for. So I want to ask you, in your work line of work, were you offered any help from any of the say civil defence, army, local council? Were you offered any kind of help in
No.
regards to what you were doing?
Very clear answer, very easy answer. No. I have never been
Okay.
contacted by anybody from those departments.
Okay. So, and saying that, what about Red Cross?
No.
There's quite a contentious. Am I still on? Oh, here we go. So Red Cross, no Red Cross.
No. No.
Did any of the political sort of, anyone from any political party come and say, look, can I ask some questions on your behalf?
No. Absolutely not.
Okay.
Mm.
So no offer for any kind of assistance at all.
No. No offers of any assistance from anywhere like the Red Cross, Civil Defence, or any government-run agencies.
So in all this time with all the people, how many people do you think has helped you in this whole? Did you get a tally of how many people volunteered their time?
I have an estimate. So in
Okay.
the 41 days, we have probably had between 700 and 800 volunteers roll in and out. Yeah.
What we are creating now, Zeb, is parallel communities, aren't we? Because
Mm.
what other help are we getting if it's not coming from the people? So this is my issue, Zeb, and I've seen this in so many different places, is there is everybody advertising for, funds to go to. We've got Kids Camp, we've got Red Cross, we've got all of the banks saying, give us money to help in the Hawke's Bay.
Yes.
I have seen nothing down there myself. I've been in
No.
Esk Valley and Bayview. I've been to the community hubs there, and they are literally just going off what people have donated, what local businesses have put in to helping them. Have you had this?
Mm.
Could you tell us what your thoughts around that is?
What I can say is, of the property owners that I've spoken to, and I've spoken to the majority of the property owners that we've worked with, I'd probably say 95% I've spoken to them in person. And when I've asked this question, whenever I've asked this question about what help they've received from the likes of Civil Defence, Council, and Red Cross, every time the answer is nothing. Absolutely nothing. I've had some property owners who've told me they've applied for payments from these places, but they've missed out for whatever reason. It's and there was actually an interview with one of our property owners who was happy to speak about this topic on camera, and that interview went up on March the 31st, on Friday, just last week,
Okay.
and that was an interview with Pete. And Pete was questioning the exact same thing, saying he had applied for funding, hasn't seen any of it, wants to know exactly where this money's going, because all we hear in the media is about how much they've managed to pull together, but nobody seems to know where it is.
Yeah.
None of our property owners have received any of it. So, yeah.
So you can apply for funding of $1,000 per household and $2,000 per I guess, business or group. So I asked them to specify for me define for me a community group. And they said it has to be registered before the cyclone happened. And I said, what happens to the groups that are created because they need to do this? They need to be in the hubs. They said, sorry, we can't help them. So I said, so on this list was community groups, charities, registered. You have to be a registered charity, Marais. And you can apparently go for $2,000 for that group. So you can be any group. That has to be registered before the cyclone. So even if you were to create something, which what you did, you still wouldn't be able to get any funds from that particular thing. So I asked them,
That's right.
where does this fund come from? And they said donations. So I said, what about the mayoral fund? We don't know anything about that. Is any of this money from Red Cross? No. Okay. So, this is the kind of thing, is that we right now we have so many organizations jumping up and down and saying we would like to donate to Cyclone Gabriel, but where is the money going? There is,
Mm.
what are we? It's a free for all right now. you know,
It
ninety
really
percent of it
is.
will go to admin. And you and I have both seen you probably every day. I've been there on and off for the last 6 weeks as well, a week at a time, and I have not seen any help from the government. So you,
Mm.
you start to wonder, okay, okay, Esk Valley is completely destroyed there. What
Yep.
what are people doing? The things that you can change things one orchard at a time and one house at a time, because that's what you've brought, Zeb. You've brought hope into it. And I did the same with A Taste of Summer. I wanted to put into them in Bayview just as much help as I could, with communities donating, churches donating to help them start, just to be a little glimmer of hope. So if you get a
Yes.
chance to go there, go and have an ice cream. Tell them that it's a shout from me. But do you know what I'm saying? Is that we've all come from different places to help there. And what is the local council doing? Have you,
That's a really good question. And also another question on that topic is, what are the locals doing? Because like I said, I've had quite a few hundred people coming through in my volunteer crews, and I would have to say about 70 to 80% of those people are not even from the Hawke's Bay area. They have come in from out of town to help. So where are the locals here in Hawke's Bay?
Do you know what, Zeb? Over the last 2 or 3 years, and you and I will both know this, we've become a divided nation.
Mm.
And you can be on one side of Hastings or Napier and be at a cafe and ride your bikes. And on the other side is absolute devastation. And
But nobody
what
has
has
any
happened?
clue.
No, that's right.
They don't
So,
have
but I
any
mean,
idea.
but where's the media? Like, why isn't the media
That's it.
there on the ground? I
Mm.
I did one live, I think about 2 or 3 weeks ago in East Valley. It got like 30,000 views, and then within a sort of a few days, One News was there. Like,
Yes.
why don't
On
why,
the topic, On the topic of
yes,
One News, I can share a little story with you, because one day we were working
yes,
on a
please.
property and One News turned up. So we had One News turn up to our site, and they were all dressed prim and proper, carrying nothing but cameras. So no gumboots, no spades or shovels, no nothing, not an ounce of mud on their shirt. And they turned up and they did not receive a very good welcome. So this could be part of the problem why people are
Okay.
not willing to speak with the mainstream media. Um, they were told quite kindly but sternly that they needed to leave. They weren't here to help. They were just here with their cameras. So that could be part of the reason. I'm not sure. That's only the one experience that I've had seeing mainstream media turn up.
Yeah, I have I've seen that as well, and
Mm.
from Hastings, and I just think, if you right now they actually wanting help. They need help. That hasn't gone away. And in fact, Zeb, I think this is going to carry on for quite a long time. If at
I
this
think so
pace,
too. Yeah.
if at the pace that we're going right now, and we have people from outside of Hawke's Bay come and help, this is going to take a very long time. What are your thoughts?
I think it's definitely going to take a couple of years. It really will take a couple of years. I do feel that we've been able to shorten that significantly for a number of property owners here, with all our diggers and things coming in and doing work that probably would have taken them months to get done. I did have a heavy machinery operator manager in our team for a short time, and he actually let me know at one point that the amount of work that we were getting done on a property per day would probably cost the property owners about $25,000 per day.
Yeah,
So we're making
right.
pretty
Wow,
huge
that's
dents here.
amazing.
Mm.
Ah,
Yeah.
incredible. Like, even just to get I think it was a 2 or 3, no, 4 ton digger from Auckland to Napier. I think the cost of it being there for 10 days, it was 30,000. Like, just a drop in the bucket of how much money is actually needed there. And speaking of money, I just saw this uh, this has come up, and I want to share it with everyone because I completely agree. And is it, can we fundraise for
Okay.
Zeb to go to the islands for a well-deserved time of rest? Okay, I totally agree with you. And so what I'm going to do is at the end of this, I'm going to give you an account number. You're going to put it in there, and I'm going to direct it straight to Zeb, and just put islands, Zeb and islands next to it. You can't. You have to like accept this, Zeb. I think it's a brilliant idea, Karina. Karina is
Oh
a
God.
reporter as well, and I think it's a
I
great
know
idea. So
Karina. Is that Karina from Truth Farm?
yes, yes, lovely
Yes, I
Karina.
know Karina.
So I think it's a brilliant idea, everybody. So if you would
Oh.
like to donate to Zeb, and we can just put Zeb and Islands, then please, I would like to, I'll facilitate that and make sure she gets 100% of that. And yeah, I think so too. I totally agree. And in fact, I'm going to as well. So
Or here's another idea. How about we
well, here we go.
fundraise for more diggers and stuff here in Hawke's Bay? Martha's taking over my team. She's definitely going to need funding.
Okay.
I don't need a holiday. I honestly
Yeah, she
don't need a
does.
holiday.
Okay,
They
so
need the
here's the
money.
thing. Okay, so we'll do two things. One, you can put towards Napier, as in diggers, and you can just put Napier digger. And if you find in your heart that you want to put it to Zeb because she has maxed her credit card, and we want to send her on holiday, I know she's really reluctant to this, but I'm going to give you two accounts at the end of this, and one will go. Well, actually, I'll just give you the one account, and then you can just put it in there and put Zeb Holiday or Island or Napier Digger. Okay, that can be your reference. No. That can be your reference. Okay, just for now, as we're talking about money. So look, we've got more people saying, look, let's do it for Zeb, well deserved.
Oh, Yvonne. I know Yvonne. Kia ora. Oh.
But anyway, I feel like there is a lot that we have um, discussed around Hawke's Bay. There is a lot more that we have not, because both of us have got our humanitarian hats on. If we
Mm,
were to be as real reporters, there would be so much more that we would um, want to uncover. But the thing is, right now, what is most important is us being there to help them, get back their
mm.
lives and to give them a little bit of hope. And I feel that Zeb, if there are people that want to do this a similar thing to you, could you just give them some tips on to what's the best thing to do and how to, I know a lot of them that are watching, they all have different skills like we talked about earlier. My
Yeah,
skill set was definitely
yeah.
not helping out in the mud. But I was able, I'm able to do other things. Would you be able to just give people just some encouragement as to how they can help in the Hawke's Bay right now?
Are we talking logistically, like doing what I'm doing, or are we
Yeah.
talking volunteer-wise if you're coming to volunteer?
Well, both.
Logistically,
Yeah,
if
let's
you,
just
if
do
you
both.
want to do what I'm doing, running a work crew with the machinery and all that sort of stuff, my best advice would be to listen to your team. Listen to your team, their wants and their needs, because if you look after your team, then your team will look after the people that you're helping. If you look after your team's happy, and if they're happy, then they're gonna keep working and they're gonna keep coming back. So if the team's looked after, then the properties will be looked after. So if your team says they need something, do your best to get it done and make it a priority, because without the
Yeah,
team, you're nothing.
yeah, that's right.
Volunteer wise, if you're wanting to join a crew and yeah, come into Hawke's Bay and lend a hand, I would definitely suggest joining in with one of the existing work crews. Martha, as you know, is going to be taking over my work crew with the structure that I've put in place here in Hawke's Bay. So I'm making sure that she's going to be well set up for that. You're welcome to join Martha's crew. There's not a hell of a lot you need to bring with you. If you've got a pair of gumboots that fit you, that's definitely handy. If you've got a wheelbarrow and a shovel, those are definitely handy. Tools wise, a screwdriver set, a crowbar. Um, there's one of these tools that can pull out nails really easily because we're removing a lot of jib and floorboards. So those, I can't remember the name of it, but those tools are really handy to have as well.
No, that's
Any
good.
plumbers or builders, those sort of skills are really needed around here as well.
Yeah, I guess what's happening is as time goes on, there's going to be different sorts of people needed. Once
Yes,
the houses are the all the mud and stuff and the silt is removed, then we're going to need plumbers and builders and just the different layers, because there's different layers of help as well. There's also
yes,
people that
there is.
may just need to, if you're elderly too, come down. People just might need someone that they can talk to.
Definitely. So
Everyone
there's
has a part
jobs
to play.
available for, yeah, there's jobs for all ages. We've had, I think the youngest person we've had on our crew was maybe 7, and I think one of the
Oh,
oldest that we just farewelled a couple of days ago, Peter, he was 82. The majority, demographic wise, with the volunteer crew has been in the 50 plus age group, majority being
wow.
between 50 and 65, I'd say. And yeah, they're just really good. And also running the crew, I've always encouraged people just to come as their time and energy allows. So if you
Yeah.
can only come for 2 hours at 11 a.m., then that's cool. Come for 2 hours at 11 a.m. If you come at 9 in the morning and you're absolutely stuffed after half an hour, that's cool. Go sit down for an hour, chill out, relax. Just make sure you're looked after. Yeah.
Could you be my boss?
No.
Now you've been sitting there. Now you've been sitting there for half an hour already. I just,
Oh, sorry.
that's the thing. I'm just
Is
messing
our
with you.
time up, is it? Oh,
Yeah, yeah. No, 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 no. I'm talking about half an hour sitting there. Um, what
oh,
I wanted to ask, the thing is, volunteers are volunteers, and
yes,
so
that's right.
there's a deep amount of respect that you give them because they're there because they want to be there, and
That's
they're
right.
helping
Yes.
out. But as time goes on, people will are getting tired. There's as time goes on and media drops away completely. How do you keep the momentum up? How do you keep it going so that people have hope?
So we constantly have people rolling in and out of the team. It has not been the same crew for the whole 5.5 weeks here in Hawke's Bay. It has been different people coming and going on their days off or coming from out of town for a few days. And every time someone new arrives, it's like there's a fresh energy brought to the team because they've arrived in Hawke's Bay. They are full of motivation. They really want to get stuck into the dirtiest job possible. And that new energy, that fresh energy, motivates the rest of the team, which is really cool. And it
Wow.
helps that we've got a really good working atmosphere. We haven't had any in-house arguments or anything like that. Everybody has been very respectful of others' beliefs, others'
Yeah.
ways of working and personalities and things like that. And yeah, it's just been really good.
So, Zeb, where to from now? Where to from here for you? And you've got someone who's going to be replacing you. Could you tell us a little bit about her?
So Martha has been working with our crew for 2 or 3 weeks, I believe, and she has come from Kaitaia, so she's not from here either, but she has committed herself to the next 4 or 5 weeks of running the crew. Now, I haven't ruled out completely coming back myself. I have a funny
Is
feeling
it
it probably
is
will
it from the
happen.
islands? After you come back from the islands, is it?
No. So I may come back and continue on when Martha has to go, but that's in a big maybe basket right now.
Sure.
I've got a lot of work that I need to get done on my bus before I can come back and recommit some more time here. So once I've got that sorted, then yeah, we'll see what happens. But my plan from here is I'm going to be going through to Gisborne. I'm very close with my father, who's in Whangarā, just half an hour out of Gisborne, and I see him very regularly. Probably once a month, I travel back and I go and see him. And this has been the longest time I've been without seeing my father. So I'm really
Wow.
looking forward to going back and seeing how he is. He's in a very tiny Māori settlement there where I was brought up. So I'm looking forward to going back and seeing him. Then I'm going to meet up with a lovely man in Hamilton called Wayne. He owns a motorhome store there, and he has agreed to do some work on my bus for me. So I'm really looking forward to getting there,
Wow.
seeing him, and getting everything sorted. Yeah.
Oh, that's so good. Like, Zeb, there's a lot of people who who want to actually help support you, in your journey. But I just wanted to ask you back to Gisborne.
Mm,
Was there any, like, I hear there's quite a bit that needs to be done there as well. Can
mm.
you tell us, was your father okay in the settlement there? Was there any damage with the cyclone there?
So I haven't seen for myself yet. I've been
Okay.
so busy doing all this, I haven't looked into anything back home. I was cut off from any contact from my father for about a week after the cyclone. I didn't hear anything in or out of Whangarā, which was very difficult, but I know they are a really resilient community out there, and a lot of them are off the grid, so they are set up for, things like this happening, and I knew they'd be okay. So not only was Whangarā cut off from the main highway, so the road to Whangarā is only one way in and out. That road was completely flooded. There was no way in or out of that road. And even if they did swim across that and get to the main highway, State Highway 35 was cut off in both directions. So there's no way they would have
Wow.
got in and out anywhere there. So yeah, we'll
Wow.
see for myself when I
Yeah.
get there what's going on.
Oh,
But as far
I
as
can
I
just
know, my
imagine you
dad was
putting your hat
home.
on. You're just
Yeah,
like, okay, what needs to be done here? It won't
yeah,
surprise
yeah.
me for 1 second
Oh, it
that
won't
you would be
surprise
out
me either.
there. It's just in you. It's in your heart. It's just
It
your
really
heart
is. Yeah.
is so huge, and I feel like the world is in a better place because of people like you, Zeb. The
Thank you.
Hawke's Bay
Thank you.
has been in amazing hands with you being in it. I've got someone here who's just put up a comment. This is Wally. My wife and I are planning on coming down for a week from the 15th. I am from a farming background. Can bring fencing tools and fuel. Who do we get in contact with? Would that be
You can
your?
definitely, Martha. Martha would
Okay.
be the one to get in touch with. And yeah, all her details are on my page.
Do you have her? Do you know what her number is right now? I can just put it up on the page for people to contact her. Or they just
I
go to.
haven't got her permission to put it out
Okay,
publicly on an
sure. Okay,
interview.
so
So
I'll just
I'll
put
pass
down
on that one for now.
sure. Okay, so shall I just put Zeb Jackson Live Facebook, and they can look up. Oh, actually, that we're in the interview now, so people can just look up Zeb's Facebook page, and she'll put all
Yes.
the details up there. And actually, why not? Can we just put it into your account, the one for your holiday, for your island, for your island holiday? Are we able to just put it straight into your account? Would you be able to put that up as well? And maybe Martha can give us the account for what needs to go down to Hawke's Bay. Just have
I'm
a think
I'm
about it.
just I'm just a little bit uncomfortable about the island thing because this was not my intention coming in here. I
Oh,
have no
and
want or need to benefit from this at all, especially when there's
you
whānau
know
here
what?
that still really need
Yeah.
the stuff. So
Okay, well, let's just get this very, very clear. So Zeb and I did not meet before. We chatted a little bit before this, but this was an idea from somebody that was
yeah,
in the chat. So
and I
just
appreciate
so
it. It's
that
a
you know.
beautiful, generous idea. Yeah.
Okay, you know what? Just put it into the account I give you then. I'll make you have it. Seb, what? No, Karina, this is very difficult trying to get money to her.
I know.
Um,
I'm sorry. It's just
but if you can give us
yeah.
can you give us the details then for so we can help with Martha, an account
Sure
that we
thing.
can put
Yes.
in so that Napier is put in there, and I will try and find a way. We'll get something to Zeb. Okay,
Yeah.
guys.
No, I
Um,
will. I will give you my personal account number, but
okay.
just know that that is
Yay.
with
Yep.
very high hesitation.
And you know what? I fully get it, and I wouldn't actually ask people like this, but knowing that you walk your talk and knowing what you have done and sacrificed over the last 7 weeks. And I have been down there and I have felt the emotion. And every time I speak about it, and just knowing that, down there we have grown men who have wept over their houses, their businesses,
Oh,
their
yes.
land, and you've seen it too. And to
And they
me, that,
continue to weep every single day. That's what people don't realize. They come out and they comfort them for a day or two, but they're still crying every single day. They need continuous help and support here.
that's right. And so, and you are one person, but each of us in our capacity can help in some sort of way. So I just feel like if you can do that for us and just give us the account for Napier,
Sure,
if you
sure.
can't get down there and put on some gumboots, hey, finances would be amazing, or to find out what they need and we can send it down. Now the roads are open from Taupo. The Taupo road is open. It's only 5 hours, whereas when we went down in our trucks, it took us 8.5 hours.
Yeah,
Took
I
us
had
eight,
to go down the long way as well. Yeah.
and it was such an amazing road trip. And sorry to put you on the spot on all these things, but there are people that actually want to bless you. And I know it's better to give than to receive, but someone has to receive. So if you would mind passing that on to me, and it can just be separate. People can just contact me, and
Sure thing.
and I would like to do that too, if you are okay with that.
Yeah.
So we've just got a couple more minutes, and I won't keep you for much longer.
Well, could I just touch on something a little bit important that I'm not sure if you're aware of just yet? There
Okay,
was actually a
please.
community meeting on the 29th of March here in Pakowhai. It was held at the Pakowhai Hall, and residents were encouraged to attend. It was the mayor was there, representatives from the council and MSD and a few other places. And I've put this video up on my Facebook page, the full video of the 2-hour meeting that was held, so you can go and see it for yourself. But what came out of that meeting, which really stood out to me, and I'm sure to a lot of the residents that attended that meeting, was when the council stood up and they admitted that at between 6 and 7 a.m. they organised and sent out a contractor with a big excavator to have the option to blow the bank if they needed to. So the intention was behind it. They had made the plans. Residents were up on their roofs at that time already, and they were not rescued until, sort of 5, 6 o'clock at night. So they were up on their roofs for the full day. And this plan was put in place first thing in the morning when they sent this excavator out there. They tell us that the excavator didn't blow the bank, that the bank blew on its own before the excavator had a chance. But what stood out to me and to the residents was the fact that they put this plan in place. They sent a contractor out at between 6 and 7 in the morning, and they did not warn any of the residents in Pakowhai that their lives would be in danger once this excavator had broken that bank. So their reasoning was to save the areas of Taradale and Napier from flooding. So they would break the bank so that the water would come into Pakowhai instead. But the Pakowhai residents were not informed. They had a lot of stock out here that they had to sit up on their roofs and watch and listen to them drown. Horses, sheep, all sorts of things, in their hundreds, thousands even. And all it would have taken is a helicopter for 10 minutes overhead, screaming out a megaphone, get out of Pakowhai.
So there was okay, let me just get this straight. So there was a contractor already out there at that time of the morning, but the residents were not told. I
That's
heard
right. So
that
the contractor was sent out there so that when the call was made, they could contact the excavator straight away and get the job done as soon as they needed it done. They sent him out there so that he was ready to go when they made the call. So the possibility was there the entire time, and the residents should have been made aware.
This is mind blowing. So
it is mind blowing.
How did the residents respond to that once they had admitted that?
You can see for yourself in that video. I'll send you all to the actual footage itself
Okay.
so that you're not just hearing hearsay from me. But Ben from Hawke's Bay app was there with his filming equipment and he filmed the entire 2 hour meeting. I've written in the description of the video once I've shared it on my page. I've written in the description, I believe it's the 47-minute mark that you skipped to, but there's actually a lot of really important information in that full 2 hours. Residents were
Sure.
asking questions to MSD about what sort of financial support they could get. They were asking the housing place about what support they could get accommodation wise. They were told accommodation wise, they had a plan in place to put cabins out on people's land, but then the residents would be expected to pay market rent for these cabins as well as pay the mortgage on these homes out here that they're already paying for that they can't live in. So then it was
No
put to
way.
MSD how they were going to get assistance to pay for all this. And the answers were quite vague. So check out that video for yourself so that you can get that straight from the horse's mouth rather than secondhand through me.
Yeah, absolutely, Zeb. In fact, I will ask the Daily Examiner to possibly put that up on our page so that people can see and mark it to, you said 47 minutes?
It's in the description where I've shared it on
Yeah,
my
sure.
page, but I believe
Okay.
it's the 47-minute mark. Yeah.
There were a lot of rumors, not rumors. There were a lot of people from the locals that actually spoke about this before that happened, maybe 2 weeks ago, and there was nothing I could do to actually speak about it until what you've just said about it being true. So if they
Yeah.
knew that then, they also spoke about the sirens not being turned on. So how were people going to be warned about this?
That's right. So there were no sirens. There was no warning whatsoever. They received, the BP Civil Defence alert. They received that, I believe, around 5 p.m. 5 p.m. They've been up on the roof
So
since the morning.
9 o'clock, with a
But a
contractor
big part,
between.
I know, it's mind blowing. But a big part of that was because they'd lost all communications with Pucklefy. Their cell towers were down. There was no way of communicating other than getting out here and putting the message out with a helicopter. And they had helicopters out. They had helicopters up in the air. And you'll also hear in that video from Hawke's Bay app, that YouTube video that I've posted, you'll also hear residents talking about the explosions that they heard. And a lot of residents I've spoken to have heard these very loud explosions that happen throughout the day, and they are suspicious of the fact that this was the stock banks being blown up on purpose. I don't have confirmation of that, so please don't read that out of
Yeah,
context.
no,
But
that's right.
this is what the residents are saying. They want to know what these explosions were, and yeah.
Zeb, there's so many unanswered questions,
There
so
really are.
many
There really are.
that are floating everywhere, and it's almost eerie. Like, where's the media? Like, no media. I mean, this
Yeah.
is huge just talking about it here, but
And there's also still a lot of looting going on. When the
okay. Can you
sun
tell us a
goes
little bit
down,
more
because
about
I've
that?
been residing at. Yeah, so I've been staying out here in Pucklefy myself in my bus at one of our homeowners' houses. She's here by herself, so I've come in just to keep her company and, just so someone else is here on the land with her. Because once the sun goes down out here, it's a completely different atmosphere. It is nothing like the happy atmosphere it was working during the day. When the sun goes down, people are making sure they've got weapons nearby. I've got a machete that I sleep with in my bed. It's very scary. There's a lot of people coming around. They're driving into properties. They're raiding places. They're stealing things. It's really scary. It really is. And the residents have been screaming out to the police, begging for roadblocks, begging for patrols, begging for help. And while the police have promised certain things, a lot of things have not been followed through on. And I can honestly report to you right now that just yesterday, one of my team was pulled over and given a speeding ticket for going 43 kilometres an hour. 43 kilometres an hour. This is what the police are doing out here in Pucklefy.
I've seen them at one of the petrol stations. They've got a little community hub police one. that I've stopped in to
They're
see what
actually
they're
really
doing.
friendly there. They're actually really
Yeah.
nice. I've spoken to them a few times. There's just a couple of officers that are out here. The officers have come from out of town. They don't know the residents here. They don't really know what's going on here, and they're given directives, and that's what they're here to do. But it's also really important to know that out here in Pakowhai, once you leave the main road, there's no speed signs out here. There's nothing saying out here that the rule is 30 kilometres an hour. All those speed signs are out on the main road. And living out here and working out here, we don't drive past any of those signs out here. There is no way
So
we could have.
so when did they change it to 30 down there?
Oh, honestly, your guess would be as good as mine. No idea. I don't leave Pakowhai very often. I'm here working every day. Yeah.
And so you got a ticket.
She got a ticket for 43 kilometres an hour. Yeah. So the residents have been screaming out for police to stop people speeding. We've got people driving 80, 100 kilometres up the roads out here, putting dust up in the air, making it really difficult for us to breathe. So, we definitely want those speeders taken care of. But, this was an instant of no warning given, no, hey, could you just slow down a little bit, 43 kilometres an hour? I mean, come on.
I'm still trying to get over that you sleep with a machete. This is New Zealand. I mean, nothing is said about that. Just, even me down there, like I'm in Hastings or sometimes in Napier, but not where you are actually staying, and the kind of protection you need down there. What? This
Yeah.
is crazy,
Well,
Zeb.
I'm here in my bus. As you know, I'm here in my bus. There's a whole lot of solar panels on the roof of that bus. There's a generator in that bus. There's things that people who are looting and stealing really want. And I'm just by myself in there, and I've got nothing to protect me. We can't really count on the police to answer our calls. It's really hard to get through to the police on the phones. So really, whatever we've got on hand is our best protection, as well as whatever neighbours we've got on hand. So
Wow.
yeah, it's it's really hard.
Zeb, I'm just I'm blown away by the stuff that you've just told me in the last 10 minutes. Just, being able to go, okay, I know that happens, but I haven't actually spoken to someone who's actually living it, day by day, because like you said, and like I've seen, it's very divided. Like you could just, you know, have your normal life and be in your business, and then on the other side is just like the housing and stuff is just
Yeah.
incredible. So Joseph's just asking, Zeb, do you know if raw sewage is still being pumped into the sea in
Hi,
Napier?
Joseph. Joseph, I have no idea about that, I'm afraid. I've been so busy working my crew 7 days a week. I've had no time to investigate anything at all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's fine. So, uh, wow, there's a lot in this interview. That's been a lot today to actually for people to kind of I guess comprehend, because we're talking about 7 weeks on here. We're not talking
Yeah.
about the first 2 weeks or the
Nope.
first, 2 weeks of this, and the police have sorted it out, the council have sorted it out. No, we're talking 7 weeks now, and you're
Yes.
still
Just
having.
last night we had 2 cars we had to chase off. Yeah.
How
And
did you
and that
do
was
that, Zeb?
before eight
Tell me
o'clock
about
at
that.
night. That was before. um. So. Oh, I don't know how much of this I want to say, but
No, you don't. You don't have to say. I
the
just.
the resident that I'm staying with, the property that I'm staying on, I won't say whose it is or where it
No,
is, but
that's fine.
it is
Yeah,
in
please don't.
Pakowhai, and
Yeah,
this woman has a background in policing.
yeah.
And so whenever this sort of stuff happens, she flicks straight into police mode, and she
Okay,
is screaming, all guns blazing. And
sure.
we're out there. We've got some of the boys who have been on the team. They've been doing sort of drive arounds at night time. We've got walkie-talkie communications, because our team is sort of split between 3 properties out here in Pakowhai. So a lot of us are staying out here, living out here, keeping our residents company, making sure things are safe and protected. So yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. Listen, Seb,
Mm.
we're just about to, our hour. Would you believe we've been talking for an hour?
I can't believe that, actually. It
I
doesn't feel
know,
like
it's
that long.
amazing. You are just such an incredible woman. So what I normally do on Island Girl Views is I normally start it with the my show with a prayer, but I really like to pray a blessing on you, if that's okay, Zeb,
That is
just
okay.
before we finish, and then we will close. So let me just
Sure thing.
pray blessing. God, I just want to thank you so much for Zeb. I thank you for her beautiful heart. And we just pray, God, that you'll provide for her in every way possible, Lord, whether it's finances. We pray protection over her. We just ask, God, that as she travels to see her father, that'll be a beautiful time for her, Lord, and that you'll be with her in everything that she needs, God, that you would be able to provide for her. We thank you for the generosity of her heart and for bringing all these teams together. And we just pray, God, that you'll bless all the volunteers, all the businesses, all the people that have given so generously to Zeb's team and everything that they've done. We just thank you, God. Thank you that we can ask you for protection over her and the people that she's staying with too. And we thank you for this time that we can spend together. I pray blessings on her in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much for that, Leao. I
You know,
appreciate it.
thank you so much for your time with us this afternoon. And if you could just stay on for just a couple of minutes afterwards,
Sure
we'll
thing.
continue to chat. But again, you know, just our local. You are our hero. Okay, you are the New Zealander of the year for 2023 in my books.
Oh,
So
thank you.
thank you so much for everything. We bless you. And we'll see you guys again. Ka kite anō.
Hey, sorry. One
Yes.
last thing. Just one last
Okay.
thought to leave everybody with. If you
Yes.
want to change the world, you don't need to do anything big. To change the world, you just need to change one heart at a time. That's it.
Can you
Okay?
say that one more time, please?
To change the world, you don't need to do anything big or great or recognizable. You just need to change one heart at a time. That's it. Just one heart at a time.
Love that. Thank you so much. Bless you
Kia ora.
guys.
See ya.